We believe that today, if you are rich, right, you have vegetable and meat on the table. If you are poor, you have vegetable on the table. So vegetable is still on the table, right? So this is the fact. If you have an idea that can actually bring value to government, he doesn't care. But the thing is, you got to have a successful case for you to come into Sarawak. And how can your project benefits not only yourself, but community as a whole?
As I said, we came to Singapore, and then we find that the people there are so nice. They are good in hospitality, but they don't have a chance for them to come from their kampong to work and grow their career. So through business, we hope that we can bless the people and also bring the people to the next level.
No, I stand corrected, but the government actually developed fertilizer that fits the own soil. The farmers say it's amazing, right? The kind of output, no problems, everything is much better, it's kind of like integrated. So it's not say only, the things are done. Welcome back to the TFC Business Show, live at the Franchising Licensing Asia 2025. I'm your host, Reggie, aka Your Chief Financial Coconut. Shout out to all of you tuning in through our stream on YouTube and LinkedIn. And if you are around the booth at AD37, come and look for us. We are doing a business survey as the day goes on. But today, this panel is the one that I'm most excited. Okay, I will share with you why. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Borneo business expansion. And I was very, very lucky to have been invited to Kuching. I visited Kuching, and I also visited Kota Kinabalu through some of the very hardworking agencies here, right? So Statos and Sabah Trade both are working very hard to try to bridge businesses from both sides, and they invited TFC over. So it was quite eye-opening to see that there are a lot of opportunities, Don't just stick to Johor. So yes, later we'll invite, very exciting to invite some of the Borneo entrepreneurs to share with you their life experience, their view, how has Borneo improved and progressed, and what's the opportunity going forward. Okay, joining me is my co-host Dave. Would you like to introduce yourself for our audience?
Yeah, hi, my name is Dave. I'm the author of Minimalist in the City, a minimalist financial coach. So today I'm very excited to be co-hosting this session because the only impression I have of East Malaysia is actually Mount Kinabalu. That is the
But Mount Kinabalu is the tallest mountain in our
Southeast
area.
Asia. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why it's on the state flag, and a lot of people actually just need the mountain to live a good life, right?
Yes, correct.
So very excited. We are together with Janice from Borenos, right, and William from 899 Manufacturing, which have done a lot of other products. So for our audience that don't know you, would you like to introduce yourself?
All right. Hi, I'm Janice Yeo from Borenos Fried Chicken. And then we've been around for 10 years in Sabah. So we do fried chicken, and we...
Don't know how to explain further. We do fried chicken lah, the best fried chicken around. That's it, right?
That's what they say. And they say, when you come to Sabah, you must try Borenos Fried Chicken. Otherwise, you won't feel that you're going to Sabah.
It is very nice, right? But recently, you guys have expanded outside of Sabah.
Yes.
Right. So where are you now? What's the thought process?
We're in KL last year, December. Our first outlet is in Puchong.
Puchong. Okay. Why Puchong?
I think Puchong is a place that people think that is a place where it's a makan heaven.
We'll come back to your expansion story in a moment. Yeah, for our audience that don't know you, William, could you introduce?
My name is William. I am from 899 Manufacturing, and we are part of NEX EcoVenture. So what we do in Sarawak is that we are still consider ourselves as a newbie in the market. We ventured into agriculture space. Under our NEX EcoVenture branding, we have the primary agriculture, where we plant. Then we have the food processing business, and the last mile itself is agro-industrial waste management. So we cover from upstream all the way to downstream, all the way to recycling. So we are actually an ecosystem-friendly kind of business structure. Yeah, it's pretty new. We started our business in 2018, market exploration. 2020 only we started the entire structure. And today we have our products on the table. We are starting to get scaling up. Market expansions, everything's happening. This year is very happening. And we very grateful that Statos invited us over to join this event. It's a
Awesome.
wonderful event
Yeah.
and something to brighten up market expansion also.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are some of the products that you're pushing at this point in time?
At this point, we focus on Sacha Inchi. Sacha Inchi is a Peruvian product. It's a Peruvian plant, wild by nature, and they labeled this as a superfood. Why is this a superfood? Because of the rich omega-3 6-9. Now, omega-3, where do we get omega-3 today from? Salmon. What if today you turn to become a vegan? So this plant produces the highest omega-3 in the world. That's why it is labeled as superfood. So we push this Sacha Inchi, we plant ourselves, we manufacture ourselves, and we distribute from Borneo, Cebu. So that's how we our focus on. Then we have our waste management as well. We do larvae breeding, and then we turn into animal feed. So all these venture, we actually tag along with ESG. We tag along with sustainability, environmentally.
I feel like you're going listing already, You got all the right terms, all the hits, and all that.
That's why when we look at our directions, we always focus on number one is UNDP, United Nations Development Program, on the sustainability statements, zero hunger, or the farm wasteland to usable land, all these things. Then when we look into Sarawak, we focus on post-COVID pandemics scheme program, which is launched by Abang Jo, our premier. So our business are all structured towards that direction because we believe that is the future of the market space. So it's very difficult for us to start off, but we are glad that I'm still here. We look forward.
Of course. And that's why you're here. So we are going to dig your brains, both of you, to get a better sense of like how does this work, in Borneo, and how can Singaporeans participate with you in your ventures, or what is the kind of business landscape. Okay, so we'll go there in a moment. But I do want to understand, at this point in time, because you never get the opportunity to go Borneo, right? So you only go there as a tourist, to climb. What is your sense of like business environment there, or like what do you see as a potential, or you have no feel around these things?
Actually, I don't have a feel because the last time I went there was like 10 years back. So I guess 10 years ago, I think a lot of things has changed. So my impression of it to me in Sabah, it feels like a adventure tourism kind of thing. So you can do like diving, all this stuff. So the food scene probably will be like seafood, all this stuff. Yeah, so that is my memory of Sabah. Yeah, so it'll be good that you can give us some flavor of like what is the business scene in Sabah and Sarawak.
But you're just to be very clear, it's different, Sabah and Sarawak is different.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's a
different,
brother relationship.
Yeah,
So sometimes a lot of love, sometimes quarrel. It's like
it's
that.
still love.
There's still love. Okay,
It's still love.
net is still love. Yes. But maybe I know I don't want to impress upon you that you are the sole representative of the state. But on this panel, you are.
You are,
right?
yeah.
So help us understand, like how is the business landscape? How has it evolved over time? From your your various optics.
Dave was right. Recent 10 years, Sabah has been developing very fast. And actually, I'm a Sabahan, but I've been staying in Singapore for 30 years. So since very young, I have my education here. So every year when I go back to Sabah, and I just love the nature, the mountain, Mount Kinabalu, and the sea. So when we come back to Singapore and tell friends about Sabah, they don't know where is Sabah. They don't know what is Sabah about. So that make us we want to promote Sabah. 16 years ago, my brother Kenji and he and his wife came to Sabah to enter into the tourism industry. And because we have the love for Sabah, so we started a business and we do inbound tourism. So we'll get people from all over the world to come into Sabah for that. So because we find that Sabah is an underrated place. So I think people in the world have to know about us. And then 10 years ago, I go back to Sabah to start F&B business because we find that not only the international business, we want to do a local business, the local market. That's how. And then we were thinking, what shall we enter? What kind of business? And everybody loves food, right? So we go into F&B. And then what else? What kind? So I think almost everybody other than vegetarian can eat chicken. All right. So chicken will be something safe for us. So that is how we started Borenos then.
And the chicken is a subsidized protein in Malaysia, right? So the
Yes.
margins from a business standpoint is relatively healthy, right? Is that a fair statement? Or you think because it's competitive, so it's very hard to price?
Because Sabah is in Borneo, so one of the things that it brings to our challenge is everything is like export, right? We have to import everything from
take from
West
Peninsula,
Malaysia.
okay.
Yeah, so that also eat in quite a bit of our profit. So everything there is almost 15 to 20% more expensive. Sometimes it can go up to 25% or 30%. Yeah, so we are actually at a very quite disadvantaged situation.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So how has the kind of F&B landscape evolved then? Yeah.
So 10 years ago, when you come to Sabah, is usually the sangyup mian, which like the bak chor mee in Singapore is pork noodle, and then we have seafood, very nice seafood, and then not much, and then tuaran or temporary mee. So these are the few that people will go for. But for us, when we enter into F&B, we say chicken, and we have this fast food brand that is really a big daring dream that we step up. Yeah. And while we are looking at the brand, shall we name it like, okay, before that we were thinking whether shall we bring in franchise or we shall have our own brand. Yeah. So in the end, we decided to have our own brand because we want to support the local businesses as well as there will be influx. We can maintain the economies because we no need to pay royalty fee out of Malaysia. Hopefully, this small bit that we can do our part in that lah.
Not like you're hoping one day you franchise out, then they pay you the small fee,
correct.
right?
Yes.
Great. Later we'll go into the nitty-gritty, right? Yeah. William, well, how has the kind of business landscape in Sarawak evolved? And specifically, you're from Miri, Cebu area, right? Cebu area. So, like, how has that kind of evolved? Because I know the system is very different, across, yeah.
So probably have to start off by sharing with you. Prior to 2018, I work in Singapore. Right, I'm in Singapore. I work for
You see,
private equity.
all our Borneo friends here all go home and set up their own business,
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
do very well.
Well, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2018, I left Singapore. I work as a corporate secretary for a private equity house, and when I went back to Sarawak, my intention is just to accompany my aging parents. Well, they're still there. All right. So the intention is just to accompany them. None of my family members are entrepreneur. None of us are in the line of F&B. None of us, right? So I would say I'm the first one, right? So then when I went back that time, my intention is just to chill out, not doing anything, just accompany my parents. And you know how the currency works, right? When you go back, there's
I know how the currency
Right.
works. Yeah,
So-
I stayed in KL for many years. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Geo arbitrage. Yes.
Yeah. So out of sudden, my elder brothers wanted to start off business, and that's how I started. Our starting point is very difficult. Now, we don't have connections because I was born in Miri, and I stayed in Miri for the 18 years and moved to KL. When I go back to Cebu, it's because my parents moved back to Cebu. So I have zero connections, nothing's in Cebu. And we don't have any persons doing business, so my connection is very bad. No connection with the governments, no connection to any type of business. So we started by exploring different kind of business. What can we do? End of the day, we realized agriculture is way forward. Why? Because we believe that today, if you are rich, right, you have vegetable and meat on the table. If you are poor, you have vegetable on the table. So vegetable is still on the table. Right? So that, right, that
Vegetable
is
is still on the table, according with tempeh.
exactly right. I mean, this is the fact. We cannot get out from these vegetable things, right? So we started with vegetable. We farm vegetable, we grow vegetable. And then I realized that, hey, I cannot compete with person who has 10, 20 years of experience planting cucumber. So what should we do? Then I started to look at what are the different type of products that we can look into, what are the things that can grow. Then I landed on Sacha Inchi. Easy to take care. You imagine I'm person holding pans, and now in the farm. I don't look like a farmer, right? Judging from the size of it, but actually go to the field, right? So imagine you are not a planter, and now you are planting something. You need to find something which is wild by nature, easy to take care. So that's how we started with Sacha ING. So when we look into the business, so we face a lot of difficulties. But good things of Sarawak is that Abang Joe, our premier, is very aggressive on agriculture. Not only that, he promotes like digital hub, the infrastructures, everything he built. He spent a lot of money to do this, and we actually tapping on his directions. With the agro park venture, with the funding that is made available for people like us to apply, it's actually make our life a bit more relaxing. Imagine you have no track record, you have nothing to back you up, you go back to Sarawak, you start a business. Who else can support you? Right? If it's not government to support you, who else can help you? You don't have a track record to build, right? Nothing to show to the financial institution. Now, we spoke earlier with Dave. Dave talked about ESG. All people like ESG. But in Sarawak, come on, ESG is nothing to them. Right?
It's true. ESG only managed to SGX, all this LISCO.
Exactly. ESG only happened for city like Singapore, a big city, Johor Bahru or KL. ESG in Sarawak is nothing. It's just a topic that you talk about it after a coffee or, during the coffee session. So Sarawak governments and Agro Bank help us up in the venture. So we started pretty difficult, but along the way, we are quite grateful that governments comes in to help. Agency like Statos also come in to help to promote. These are the things to actually bring us out from Sarawak. Sarawak, we have only 3 million population, right? For us to build an F&B, something new in the market, publicity, assistance from governments, all this is very, very important. So for us to come to today's stage, I'm quite happy that Sarawak does help to promote the agriculture phase. But if you still talk about ESG, we are kind of going towards that direction, but not yet there. But our premier is working very hard to reach that angle.
So if I'm not a Sarawakian, do I get the same amount of help when I go to Sarawak and do business?
I think Sarawak has a very open-minded business directions. Now, if you have an idea that can actually bring value to government, he doesn't care. Sarawak government doesn't care whether you are from any place of the world. But the thing is, you got to build, you got to have a successful case for you to come into Sarawak. And how can your project benefits not only yourself, but community, as a whole? Then you can get the equivalent support from Sarawak government.
Fair. Previously, when I was there, I met another farmer. They were growing corn and all those, right? Also vegetable, right? So it has to be vegetable. And he was telling me, actually, I stand corrected, but the government actually developed fertilizer that fits the own soil.
Yes.
Right? Because originally they were importing, I was creating all sorts of problems for the soil and the produce and the yield. And you just develop your own fertilizer, and you can't develop that. It's not so easy. So there's a state support to get that going. And the farmers say it's amazing, right? The kind of output, no problems, everything is much better, it's kind of like integrated. So it's not say only, the things are done.
They are doing it, and Sarawak government is actually investing quite heavily on all this infrastructure. But then we do need to have farmers like us, entrepreneur like Janice, to actually start running the business.
Convince the Sarawak can go back and grow.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say to convince Sarawakian or Sabahan to go back. I think when you go back that time, you have to set your mentality right. You cannot keep converting. Like you're earning 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Sing dollar. When you go back, what is this amount of money? You cannot keep converting. You got to understand where you wanted to head to, right? What is your future directions? I'm not saying that I'm successful, but that is how I shape my mind. When we first started, zero income, spending our own saving, right? But to today's date, still not earning what I earned previously in Singapore, but I'm quite happy, right? Because for the things that we developed, for the sustainability statement, I like the sustainability statement actually. I'm a big fan of it. So for what we have developed, we are in line with government's direction. I'm quite happy where we are today.
Yeah, I think the same can be said for Singaporean businesses trying to expand into Malaysia.
Yep.
You cannot keep converting, right? You must see this as a different market. Look at it differently.
Well, I like Singapore people to convert when they are in Sarawak.
Buy more.
Because when they invest on you, 1 million is like 3 million.
Yeah.
So as a banker, I used to deal with agribusiness. So we lend money to businesses. So they have, I did some visits to like Shanghai and then some of it to Indonesia. Actually, I went to the coffee business. So I think we were looking at coffee beans, how they harvest it, and how they are actually implementing like technology, like IoT to kind of like monitor the whole process, so up chain to the down chain. We as bank, we were like assessing how the whole process is like, how it benefit the community there. So I think ESG might not be a thing now, I think in maybe your part of the world, but then I think it's the way forward, which I think you are already doing it from day one. If you have that in your mind and you're already doing it, I don't think it will be very difficult for banks to lend money to all these companies to further the growth of all these companies, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. That is happening in one of our business structure. When we do animal feed. So when we do animal feed, so the idea is to get the community to engage in the breeding process. Now they breed the chicken, they breed the ducks, and then we produce animal feed. We let them try, and then we supply to them. Then we be the offtake. Now I told the government, when the government look at me, why do you want to have that? Then I told the government's officer, why are you keep asking the community to come out to work in the city? There is not much opportunity there, right? When too much of people come to work in the city and they are unemployed, what's going to happen? Social issue, right? Why not you just bring, since you have the infrastructure, you have the digital platform, you are building the road all the way to the inner city, inner area, So why can't you just bring this state of the arts, bring this model back to the community? It's also modern. It's also IR 4.0. Let them do it at their own house. Then we buy from them and we sell for them. So instead of asking them to come out, why can't we bring it back to them? That is the segment that I told them. That's why it's all on the ESG. How do you make it sustainable? It's difficult, but someone has to start somewhere.
Yeah, correct. Because there's a lot of like kind of like illegal things that farmers do also.
You sure
so
you
I
want
think
to
the
go
ESG, I believe there will be.
Okay,
but then,
okay.
Yeah, but then this thing comes in to make it more responsible kind of farming practice. It's the foundation towards the longevity of this business.
Yeah. We welcome Abang Joe on the show. Yeah, we also welcome Haji GinHo on the show, right? So yeah, everybody is welcome. Okay, yeah. But I do want to ask a little bit about like tech, since we talk a little bit about it, right? Because I think tech investments and it's all CAPEX, right? When we're expanding a business, we as business people we want to manage our CAPEX, right? ESG, all that well and good, but CAPEX is very important. ROI is very important. How am I going to roll this thing is very important. So I do want to understand from your point of view, because both of you have been in your business vertical for a long time, right? What is the kind of expectation for like tech CAPEX these days? Going in, whether is it not that I want to start a competitor, if I were to start a complementary brand, or something in the same vertical that you do, what do you think is kind of like a right frame of mind? What is the right setup, that people should need to think about and budget for, of course?
For us, it's a restaurant, so it's more on the back end. So we are using system, HR system. We are using technology on how we keep track of the staff movements, and also our how we can maintain our loyalty customers, and also in finance. Yeah, so these are the things that as a restaurant we are looking at the technology part.
Okay, so it's not really frontier, like these days, like in this FLA there are like, I don't know, 5-6 vending machines going around. They are like those automated cook on their own type of stuff, right? China is very big on that, right? And in Singapore, I think given the constraints of space and manpower, more and more businesses are thinking about these type of stuff. But you would say in Sabah, in the restaurant trade over there, it's still okay to,
Of course, for us, right, in our kitchen, we do use high-tech technology.
but cannot tell
equipment.
you exactly what is used.
So just now you asked me what did I import. So we imported a very high-end kitchen equipment, and that cost us a bomb. Yeah, why? Because we are willing to invest that to maintain the consistency of our quality of food. Yeah, so these are the things that I think kitchen for us, apart from the back end administrative, but also kitchen equipment. Yeah, so it has to go through technology. Otherwise, then there will not be consistency.
Yeah.
The quality.
Yeah, but
It's all
it's
about
just,
quality.
just so I'm very clear, but it's not to a point where everything needs to be technology, right? Because all those things is all costs upfront, when we're trying to deploy. So the labor environment, the whole space itself can still function without super intense tech setups, right? Just to be very clear on that.
There are two parts for what I see here. One is the technology part in the kitchen, right? But when it comes to the front end, facing the customers, of course, we have now high-tech robot, right, to serve you. So we will ask ourselves, do we want robots to serve our customers? Then I ask myself, would I want robots to serve me? You're shaking your head, right? So that is why Sabah, Sabahan, they always say Sabahan are very warm. Yeah, so this is what make our brand stand out from the rest, is because we actually, no matter where we go, where we expand, including KL, we are using the Sabahan people to bring the warm hospitality to our customers. Yeah, so some things that, although there's a technology, but we couldn't compromise the customer experience.
So you say and that is great, right, from an ideological standpoint, but from an operational standpoint, the numbers still make sense, right? Because over here, even if you have the ideology, right, the numbers don't make sense, so everything is self-serve, goes to it. It is what it is, right? Okay, great. And even as you expand to KL, this whole structure can still stand.
Yes, we import our
you bring the Sabahan out together.
Because I went through the website, right? I think you have a very beautiful story there. It's like you started 10 years back, and then the growth was quite gradual, and then I can see like the proportion that you actually, only recent years they expanded a lot more. So I was through that thing, right? I can actually analyze like, you were taking a very careful stance on like, you need to make sure certain things are in place. It might be people, it might be equipment, it might be the process. So maybe you can bring some light to us, like, what were your focus when you're building this story of yours? Yeah.
So our intention of why we existed is actually want to impact the community and the people for Sabah. Yeah, because as I said, we are from Singapore. We came to Singapore, and then we find that the people there are so nice. They are good in hospitality, but they don't have a chance for them to come from their kampong to work and grow their career. So through business, we hope that we can bless the people and also bring the people to the next level. Yeah. So what we do is that we focus a lot on our talents. We groom them, and we do a lot of trainings. So we allow them to make mistakes, and also we allow them to learn from one department to another. We put the best fit to the right place lah. So for KL, so some people, we always hear stories of them. They are very shy, but they have a dream. They want to go out of Sabah. So how? And many stories is that they go out of Sabah, they couldn't make it. So sometimes they feel too shy to come back, right? And sometimes when they're too shy to come back, they have to stay there. There's no turning that back for them. And then they will have to be treated like the second class or third class citizen over there. And that will be quite stressful for them. And they are not happy. So what we do is that through business expansion into West Malaysia, at least it's a start for them to go out of Sabah, to explore having their career in another place. So when they are unable to make it, or they feel that they are homesick so much, right? So they will have a chance to come back and still continue to work with us. Yeah, so we give them a safe space to explore. Yeah, this is what we can provide for them.
Yeah, fair. And when I was in Borneo, I talked to a lot of the entrepreneurs, and some of them were laughing, because there's a bit of stereotype around, like, the Borneo people cannot do it, all that, right? And then there are some of these like newer age entrepreneurs like you guys, right, that go home and set up, right? They were laughing at the others. They're like, 海底捞还不是开, the 面还不是铺, So ultimately, it's about the system that you bring back to the people that you work with, right? And I think there's a lot of that arbitrage that can be to your advantage, especially coming from, what I think some people will call the the more advanced, or like the more vibrant spaces, then you can bring those ideas back and then develop from there. Because this whole thing, it's kind of collaborating that whole system, right? So for a lot of Singaporean entrepreneurs, that's why I want to do this episode, because I think they're very juan here already, right? So you can bring a lot of your stuff, the things that you're very good at, and explore what Borneo has for you. Right, there's so many more opportunities than you just keep grinding it out here. Everybody price compete and cutthroat, right? So I think that is something to really think about. Open up your minds that this arbitrage exists, and because you are playing in Singapore, you actually can have that advantage with a system, expand to elsewhere and explore Borneo. Yeah, but William, any other thing you want to say on that front?
Well, I think to address that part, I always believe patience and dedication is very important for you to run an entrepreneurship, right? You got to believe what you wanted to do. I quoted my brothers always say, you got to love what you do. Otherwise, you won't be able to excel, right?
You cannot even tahan.
You can't even tahan. You're right.
Let alone excel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to your question about the so-called IR 4.0, it is a good intention to have IR 4.0. Everyone love it. But the next question is how can you support it, right? Even the government give you a free IR 4.0. They subsidize you with all the technologies, the freedom, all these high-end, equipment. Then the next question is how about the community? What is the job opportunity? How much value do you create? Now, at this point, what price are you selling your product? So that is very focused. It's a focus question, right? I do black soldier fly breeding. They all introduce me with all the robotic arms, self-harvesting system, cost millions and millions of dollars, right? Then my question to them is how much are you selling? 1 kilo, you're selling only like ringgit Malaysia 3. How can you recoup all your investment costs?
It's true. It's like you sell bak choy and kangkong, right?
Precisely.
Then your setup source, that's why all fail.
Exactly.
All the Singapore one, by the way.
Well, Singapore,
you cannot beat the soil.
You cannot. You
right?
can't.
You can bak choy all you want in a multi-story, It doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if you want the government to support you
Enterprise,
with...
we can still talk. Sorry. Please continue.
If you want the government to support you with all the 4.0, they support one for you. How about the rest? They can't be just supporting you. You're right. That's why 4.0 is important to a certain extent. We only look at the processes, what processes that we need to implement the 4.0. Ultimately, in my setup, I always want the entire processing methods to be as simple as possible, so that when I bring in new community to come in, it's easy for them to teach. I can teach them easily. You just follow this step, and then ultimately we need to have machine to control, like what Janice said, quality, and that's it, right? So we have to. IR 4.0 is to be implemented by stages, and also to look at the vision. Where are you heading towards? You can't just invest like that. Otherwise, you can't recoup. Too costly.
Fair. Awesome. So maybe one last bit, for both of you. If today a Singaporean entrepreneur listens and they say, wow, this is very exciting. I want to open a restaurant next to Janice. I want to open a new supply chain with you, or next to you, right? I know you don't want competitors. Nobody like competitors, but just so someone listen and they're very inspired about Borneo, and the Singaporean, they want to go into Borneo, what would be some of your, advice for them?
One thing that I need to adjust myself is the mindset of how we think employment should be, the quality of employees. So this is because running restaurant is a very people-intensive business, and if you come in the way how our usual leadership in Singapore handle us, then I think you're not going to survive, because I have seen businesses that have import specialists from overseas and come to try to restructure or help the business in the local context of Sabah, but they really fail. Why? Because the Sabahan actually, I can speak for Sabah already, right? So they are very strong in their culture. So it's like our tagline in our cup, just relax bar. So you have to put up with the relaxing mindset of them, and then motivate them to work, So that's something that we have to be mindful of. So if you are able to handle that, and then let the locals to handle the management while you train them, then that you can go for it. Yeah. If you just come straight on, I think you'll scare them away.
Yeah. And I don't think
Yes.
that will change anytime soon. Yeah, we were at Kamatan, right? So we saw how organized the tribes were, right? So that means this energy is gonna stay, right? That this is an important part of the business culture and of course the wider culture in Sabah. And if you were to expand it, you must be very cognizant about this.
I think the last year, couple of years ago, and even this year, Sarawak welcomes a lot of Singapore entrepreneur. Singapore Business Federation actually organized tour to visit our ministry, try to get the opportunity, mainly because of food security. You know Singapore, you don't have a lot of place to plant anymore. Right?
I know.
And everything that you have is actually, most of them are imported. Right? Sarawak being a very good place for you because it's very short distance and then it's a direct. Right, but one thing that always have to bear in mind when Singapore entrepreneur comes to Sarawak, I believe that is just my own feeling. I work in
You don't
Singapore before.
represent Sarawakian, huh?
I am
Although Janice says she
representing my
represents
own
Sabah.
Sarawak. Yeah.
This is your worldview.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
yes,
own part. So one thing bear in mind is that don't bring your Singapore attitude back to Sarawak. That is very important, right?
I need to know what is this Singapore attitude. Tell me, what is this Singapore attitude?
Aggressiveness.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. the aggressiveness in developments, you want everything to be speed. You call the government officer, you expect them to pick up the phone now. Or else you write a complaint email, just complain all the way up to the head. In Sarawak, no, we don't have that kind of things. All right, when you complain, you got to find the right channel to complain. All right, and always remember the way I look at the business is Rome is not built in a day. When you want to demolish Rome, it's also not a day. Right, you got to be patient about it. We welcome a lot of foreign companies come in because of food security, but always remember Sarawak is blessed and Sabah is blessed with land. Don't talk about the vertical farming. It's not yet there.
I don't think it will
won't
ever
come,
be
yeah.
there.
It cannot be
think
there.
it will come.
I don't
Exactly.
think it will come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to be practical enough to make sense, because these days everything is viral on internet. All the ministers, they look at Facebook because they use Facebook, they use Instagram to do publicity, isn't it? So when they scroll, they look at what happened in the West, what happened in the North, everything they look on Facebook. So tell them something which is custom made to Sarawak and Sabah. Don't come to them, talk about the Four Seasons in Switzerland, whatever things. It doesn't make sense. You got to make sense when you come to a proposal. And Sarawak government these days, I would say they are smart.
Of course.
Right. They only look at the good proposal. They can tell you, very good proposal, but no, okay, put that on the table. Now I will look at it after a couple of months later. So the idea has to be very practical and always be patient about it.
Awesome.
You got to be patient and patient.
Yeah, patient. Yeah, and for last fun fact, if you didn't know, Sarawak actually has more than the energy output that they need. Right, so there's a lot of manufacturing possibilities that you can bring in. Don't need to squeeze here, right? So I am very happy that both of you came to share your side of the story, and I hope today you found it insightful and a better taste into understanding Sarawak and Sabah directly from the entrepreneurs, right? Not just from us. And if you like what you hear, follow us, like, share, subscribe, and you can always reach out to them. If they would like to connect with you, where's the best place to?
On the internet, Facebook.
Okay.
You can
LinkedIn,
go to the
Facebook?
Facebook and to search my website, GinHo Food Industry, Mega BSF. We do have a few websites. And most importantly, if they are in Singapore, come to the booth.
Yes, come to the booth.
Come to the
FL is
booth,
the best.
drink the
Yes.
tea, and then we can
Yes,
teach
yes.
all over the tea.
Yes,
I have
yeah.
our tea, our kombucha, our oil, such as oil. Everything is on the table.
Yes. Yeah. We hope the fried chicken was also here, but never mind. Okay, yeah. But Janice, if they would like to connect with you, where's the best
we are
place?
on all social media platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, website, Xiaohongshu, we are all there. So Borenos.com And then for social media, just search Borenos Fried Chicken.
Awesome. So with that, that's the end for this panel. We hope to see you at our next stream. I think we're coming up in another 10-20 minutes. And if you are at MBS, please join us. Come to the Franchising Licensing Asia 2025. Check out our booth AD37. Must come and say hi, take photo with us. Okay, with that, we'll see you in the next stream. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.